sat down at his desk.
And I just want to mention that I got 4 little reasons. Oh, I gotta change that. I had the 5th one just a couple weeks back. Quentin Scale, the Mason, Micah, and Noah. What Doyle is doing to this state is a travesty. And who it's going to hurt are the young kids. For the parents and the grandparents that are out in this crowd, you know what I'm talking about. You know how hard this is going to be on them. We're seeing businesses driven out of our state. We see a governor who doesn't really get it. He doesn't understand where jobs come from. These kids are going to be growing up in the next generation, next 2 generations. They're going to be feeling the end result of his jobs destruction program that he's on right now. Now, I see a lot of heads nodding, and they're in agreement with me because they recognize you don't wait till there aren't any pieces to pick up.
That's right.
You deal with the problem.
That's right.
And Chris Kleisman into this because people remember. Citizens for Responsible Government, how many people remember what they did with Tom Ament and the recall of during the pension board scandal? These guys were good. Vicki McKenna turned us on to them and said, call them up. We did call them up, and they said, these guys, give them a hand. These guys really did a great job doing Tom Ament.
It's kind of like old times, huh? It's got to be a lot of faces in the crowd from the Ament recall and the subsequent recalls after that. A lot of it started right here at Serb Hall. I'd like to take you a little bit down memory lane if you want to cue up that next slide. I think Mary Panzer, who wouldn't schedule taxpayer Bill of Rights for us. Mary Lazich, who lied to her constituents, who was booted from her position of power. I think we all remember this gentleman, Mr. Tom Ament, County Executive of Milwaukee. The question is, who will be next? Any guesses?
Doyle.
72 counties. That's 8,400 signatures per county. We can do that sitting in Milwaukee County with our eyes closed. Let's just go out and do it. Let's get 10 times that number. All right? Thanks much.
Or Seymour up here, and he can give you the details.
Thank you. Before I get into the recall process, I was on the internet the other night, and I ran across an old, obscure federal document that virtually nobody pays any attention to anymore. And there's one little paragraph that I thought was kind of interesting. I just want to read this one little paragraph. It goes like this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that when any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and institute new government. Amen. Here's the problem. Been one team on the field for years. We're just driving that ball up and down the field at will. We're not even sitting on the sidelines. In fact, we're not even up in the Euro seats. We're sitting home watching the game on TV. We got to get on the field, folks. That's why we're here tonight. We got to get the team on the field. Keeping the pressure on them. That's what we're trying to do with Jim Doyle. Keep the pressure on. With that, I'm going to get into the entire recall process. So that gave Vince and his team here to put this stuff together. We were parked right across the street in some Zucchi's restaurant. We got there about an hour early, and we had the signs, we had the banners, we had bullhorns, we had about a dozen people out there. Most of the people you see with the red t-shirts, they were down there, and Vince had his boombox, and he played Jim Doyle's famous speech, we must not, we shall not, and will not raise taxes. He had it play for an hour straight, intermittent with Recall Doyle, Recall Doyle, Recall Doyle. And it was very, very powerful. In fact, the people on the east side, you say they're a little bit liberal on the east side? They were shocked. I mean, I could just see the looks on their faces. They were shocked that somebody would actually protest against their governor, Jim Doyle. Sentinel was there. They took pictures. I don't know, they had a reporter. Most of the TV reporters were there. I think there were some radio people there. Did you see anything in the paper the next day that we were protesting?
No.
I missed it. Maybe, no, I guess there was nothing. Well,
No.
because of Google alerts, there was one newspaper that we found in Superior, Minnesota that reported that we were protesting Jim Doyle signing the smoking ban. So it can be very, very powerful.
You think he can hear you?
Recall Doyle! 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 Recall Doyle!
You think he can hear you?